heard it here, folks. The holiday shop for kids only leads to fractured families.
Yeah, in my case, 100% accurate. My parents didn't make it.
You think it was the eraser?
It could have been the eraser. Does it look like hell, though?
Hinges are great. I'll bring it next week. You can judge the workmanship on it.
Can't wait. That's a big reason.
It's a reason to tune in.
Next week, Kyle's jewelry box makes an appearance.
Not only is that a reason to tune in, that is the A-bit.
Dick Kyle is not a smart guy.
Didn't pronounce it that way. Didn't say it that way either.
Well, I mean, look, I'm just trying to truncate things.
Hang on a second.
We're on a schedule here, man. Just trying to, make things
offensive.
Make things concise.
Just said he's not smart. I don't remember saying that part either.
Well, I mean, some would say that maybe you said that. Gotta clear the larynx.
Sorry, sometimes you start off the morning. It's like when you turn on a faucet for the first time in a long time, and sometimes it's got
an air pocket in there.
Yeah, like spits a little bit. Well, that's me in my mouth.
Rough day? Rough go about things?
I don't think any more rough than normal. It's probably filled with sawdust.
Okay.
But it's good to see that 30 seconds into talking, and we've already lost our chance at the awards this year.
Which awards are they?
Aren't there there's got to be podcast awards, right?
Like a Marconi, but for a podcast. A Podconi.
Now,
are we up for any Podconies?
Now, for people who don't know, the Marconi is what radio shows on a national level
Yeah, that's
receive,
like the
right?
legendary excellence in broadcasting awards. Something that we are in no danger of ever treading on that territory.
So your idea...
But a Podconi...
Your idea is that we may be in the running for the knockoff version for podcasts.
Podconies.
Which would be the Podconi. Nobody's come up. Hang on.
The Podconi.
Is that K-O-N-I on Marconi, or you think it's C-O-N-I?
C-O-N-I. Yeah, it's M-A-R.
You can see how close I've been to that in my radio life, huh?
It's like macaroni, but a couple of letters are deleted or switched around.
Steve.
They got him?
I think we're onto something.
Nothing, zero results on Google?
No Podconies.
Okay. All right.
Do we need to start handing out Podconi awards?
We could do that. Wait, then we have to listen to other podcasts.
Oh, no, we're winners.
Oh, okay. So we just...
Yeah.
So we just received them. So after a hilarious A-bit, maybe you hear... Live from the Steve and Kyle Podcast broadcast headquarters, we won another Podconi for this bit. All right.
How about that?
That's easy enough.
Huh?
But I think we need to have different categories. Like, you don't just win an Oscar. You win an Oscar for best blah, blah, blah,
sure.
Best supporting actor.
Absolutely. And you can take production design to the bank.
Yeah. We got that? You think that's handled? I mean, we have this fancy soundboard here.
No question. You can
we
take...
have I have this computer that has a lot of blue waveforms and spikes on it. Like, that's got to be good for a production award or something.
If we had to pick, though, Steve, from, let's say, the last calendar year, you know what? I don't know if there was anything good enough. So let's say in our lifetime of this podcast, if we had to submit one bit for an award, for whatever it may be, funniest, best,
okay,
what would you consider nominating? Does anything stick out to you in particular that we've done? Maybe something from that's probably, I mean, if we're talking about sending it in for an award, it's probably made an appearance on a year in review program.
No.
Huh.
Yeah, no, not even one.
So when I tell you that Steve and Kyle deep dive the overhead garage door opener, or here's what I would nominate: a 2-part series, the original and the sequel, of searching for Steve's hot girl neighbors who called him underwear wrestling.
All right, I could do that. I remember laughing a lot at Corn Man and Scarecorn back in the fall. Corn Man and
Scarecorn. I would consider also...
Seasonal Sammy. Seasonal Sammy's got to be up there.
But I would also consider another 2-part series. Part 1 being The Surfer.
Oh, he smashed into a pier and died.
And Part 2 being the saga of Steve's former boss, Jack.
Oh, boy.
Oh, but that was like a 3-part series.
That was... Yeah, I mean, hopefully the folks that review audio for the Podconies have a little bit of time to kill. Listen, because that's going to take a while when you include the setup, all the background, the climax, and then the untimely passing.
Was it untimely?
I think so. Yeah, he was
in the 60s, right? 60s?
Yeah, so probably 60s.
A little untimely, right? Yeah.
Maybe 70s. 70s at the most.
We searched for a long time. Nobody came out of the woodwork to be our show plaquist when we were trying to get a plaque made for the childhood home of C.G. Johnson in Hartford City, Indiana. The
inventor of the overhead garage door opener.
Obviously. A plaque has never appeared. So we're on to the next best thing, Steve, and we now need to find a trophyist.
A trophist.
A trophist.
Come on. You sound like an amateur.
I mean, you're not going to win a Podcony talking like that.
Yeah.
We need a trophist who can make us some Podconies. And now I think the Podcony should look like...
Well, because I think a Marconi is... I think it's like the old phonograph-looking thing.
Okay, well, we're bringing this thing into the 21st century. Okay, hang on. Well, I have something that
couldn't have been further off. It is looks like a miniature version of the Washington Monument for whatever reason. Yeah.
That's a little pompous, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I think. My idea of the Podcony.
Just like a brass pile of poop?
No, because we need to show that it's different than radio. So I think it still needs to be that crappy fake gold. But then...
Like, I want spray painted.
Yeah,
But spray painted poorly, so you can see the overspray. You can see the drips from where you held the can in the same spot a little too long.
Yeah, I want it that if you hold the award too long with sweaty fingers, you pull it back and like the color's different now right. On the Podcony.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm thinking. Everybody in radio uses, and I use them right now. It's just because it's what I have over the ear headphones.
Yeah,
like big studio style.
Yep.
Whatever. But typically, I would say the norm in podcasting is earbuds.
What I'm wearing, and I've only recently in the last year started wearing these.
You used to be overhead ear man yourself.
I did. I wore the over the ear ones because I didn't need them at work. Because I used to be in a separate booth at work. There was no need for headphones in there. I just didn't need them. And so I always had them here at the house. But then once things shifted around a bit, I now need them at work, so I don't have them here. But actually last week, I have a pair of headphones upstairs, like an over-the-ear pair that is wireless, like the Bluetooth ones. But it also came with the plug. And I thought, maybe I should actually use them. I just never did for whatever reason.
Huh.
I can go up and get them right now if you want.
It's your personal preference.
We can pump the brakes
for you to wear headphones.
For me to wear headphones. Imagine the Podcony we'd get for that.
I mean, listen, you're the one who's now demeaned what we do here for the better part of a year by sticking those things in your ear holes. And, what would we give? You can't leave when we start lining up guests to come down into the basement.
Right. I mean, any day now. We're closing in on the beginning of the 5th year of this podcast.
By the way, we have to talk about a momentous anniversary coming up.
We've had one guest to date in studio.
And that was because he was here?
Yeah, simply because he was in the house.
Yeah, and it would have been uncomfortable if you had said, hey, sit here for a couple hours while I go talk in the basement.
Yeah, I got to go downstairs and yuck a bit.
That's right. Professional yuckers.
Was that a Podcony?
Steve, we're making this. So yes, it is now. Because you can't leave guest earbuds, right?
No.
Unless they're packaged like those disposable ones you get on an airline. Like
Yeah, they
in
have
a
to be.
bag,
Yeah. Oh, maybe we could get customized ones.
but they're so uncomfortable. You have to go with those soft. If you're going to do in-ear for our guests, there has to be those soft rubber, not the hard plastic that is just generic size that fits. Whose ear does that fit? Andre the Giant?
Who knows?
It's uncomfortable.
Terrible. Garbage.
But I think we need, for when we start our guest lineup, we need to get...
We're really easing into the guest thing.
Well, we don't want to rush anything on this podcast. We figure the 5-year anniversary coming up this June is the perfect time to start thinking about...
4-year anniversary. 16. It'll be the 4-year anniversary, but the beginning of our 5th year. Started in 16.
Is it?
Yeah.
We went so
because 17 would have been the 1-year anniversary.
Yep.
18
and then 19 and then 20 will be the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So we got a little bit of time before the.
Man, who made up that calendar even?
Whatever, Gregorians.
I go by the astrological calendar. It's all different.
Yeah, this is like our 38th year.
Yeah.
If you look at that thing.
I think the beginning of our 5th year in total doing this.
Maybe this will be so coming up in June. It'll be our 4th/5th anniversary.
Man, we're definitely losing the. You know what? It's okay. I lost the pod coney in the first 30 seconds by clearing my throat, and now I can't.
So
count.
we invented it, but we don't even get one.
We're out of the running because I can't count. Calendars are hard.
Yeah, they are tough.
So here's my idea. Like we talked about, most podcasters use the earbuds, but they have these stands, and we have one here at the table.
Yeah, donated by friend of the show, Chris.
And still working. I don't know
It's
why
great.
it would stop.
It's basically, to give you a visual representation of what this is, it's a square piece of, I think it's stainless steel, probably 4 inches by 4 inches, and then out of the middle of it, it has a round bar that comes up and then out. So
Just think of where Jesus was crucified.
Oh, boy. Don't know if I'd go with that as a description. Yeah, it's a big... I would have said a big T. Maybe not a big cross.
I guess you're missing the top, like
Like the headrest.
inch or two. I actually
Do you
wouldn't
think
mind
they call
that.
it a headrest?
I don't know. Someone can someone flip through the Bible quick, the part where they dispute Jesus' accounting, and the idea is that they just wanted to get him a tan and have a headrest.
I think this is our most insensitive part of the podcast.
It's up there.
In the 4/5 years we've been doing this.
It's top 3.
Okay. But we digress.
I'm thinking something like this. So a little stand, a T with the base, like you said, Steve, with just a pair of earbuds dangling from it.
Oh, that would be nice.
So really, what it's going to look like is male genitalia.
Well, I think that's perfect.
I honest to God, had this idea fully thinking it was good. And then I just looked at the T, thought of the image.
Let's actually... Here.
Yeah, because this is
Here,
going to
you
have to
set
go
this
on the
up.
poll now.
You set this up in a way that you see fit. I'll just sit over here. You'll have to let me know if I'm talking too loudly because I don't have headphones on, so I'm
How
going
do people do this without headphones? See, and it's obviously this is too long. I'm going to have to bring up the
right,
space.
go ahead,
there.
just cut them.
Yep. Yeah, that's it's male genitals.
Wait, no, you can adjust the look, this little thing here.
Yeah.
Oh no, it goes, oh no.
I brought it
that
up all the
on.
way.
Do it like that. There we go.
Well, okay. In hindsight, it seems like this idea was dumb.
I mean,
just over the middle there,
some would say.
just like that.
No, I think it's perfect.
Obviously, I didn't.
It's everything the Podconies represents.
Okay. Rebooting the Podcony design. Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Let's take 2.
Maybe just you can hold these, just a pair of over-the-ear headphones. So this is the award, right?
Yeah.
Like the letter U. Just like
why don't we just take an old pair of headphones and spray paint them?
That's not a bad idea. We're gonna need 30 of them, though.
I mean, Rush Limbaugh, he's got the The golden microphone.
Golden mic. So you're thinking spray paint gold headphones.
Yeah.
So here's what we need from a trophist
And a plaquist.
or people with loose or spare over-the-ear headphones. We need you to send them our way.
I think we could probably source a pair of headphones.
No, we need a lot, though. Like I said, there's a lot of categories.
That's true. Yeah, we have to nail them all to our wall.
If we win.
If we win.
Fingers crossed.
We could build a trophy cabinet.
Searching for, like, podcast awards.
Mm-hmm.
We need to figure out a way to infiltrate this.
There's the iHeartRadio Podcast Awards.
Not interested. That's only going to go to their iHeart personalities. We wouldn't even be considered. It's also way too big.
And it's also coming from a company who does not value individuals in any way.
No, it's similar to, Sports Illustrated earlier or late last year was bought by a company called Maven. Mm-hmm. And they're much less journalism, much more about, photo galleries getting 30 clicks.
Sure.
They laid off, I think it was like 60% of the staff at Sports Illustrated, obviously a distinguished sports magazine.
Yeah, man, they created the shoe phone back in the day. Could that be a Podconi?
The shoe phone?
Something similar to that? Like, okay, but instead of phone, we should have a microphone. So what can transform into a microphone?
Oh, boy.
Like the shoe microphone? Would that be weird?
No, I mean, it'd just be like a hollowed-out shoe, and you'd turn it upside down, and you'd pull a microphone out. I mean, it'd be uncomfortable as hell to wear.
Wouldn't be the most comfortable.
I mean, unless you really need arch support. And
yeah.
But
we may have to come back to that.
But anyway, Sports Illustrated.
Put that in the old think tank.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, because right now we're struggling with ideas. But that's why we're looking to hire a trophist.
Mm-hmm.
But Sports Illustrated was bought by this large company, but then over the Super Bowl week held this massive party for their staff with like Flo Rida and DJs and some big shindig, but they couldn't afford the salaries.
Yeah.
That's similar to iHeart.
Yeah.
So we're not interested, Steve.
Not interested in joining that. Joining those.
What we are interested in the 15 seconds I've looked at this website, is podcastawards.com.
What?
Now, this award, maybe you can tell me when you go to the website, Steve. Maybe you can tell me what that is.
Okay, I'm going to it right now.
Supposed to be, because I'm guessing what's to the left of their of their name is their award.
Okay, I understand the very top part of it, the three like semicircle things.
Yep, that means they get 3 bars of Wi-Fi. Is it a phone?
Boy, that's a tough one.
Remember, don't dog it. We're about to put our name in the ring.
Register now, 2020 podcast.
So, here's what we need. Well, I don't know. Do we have to nominate ourselves? Do other people nominate? I don't want to win. I want to literally make it into one of the dumbest categories possible.
I want to go to the party, though. I want to go to the reception.
There's no question. Can you imagine? We'd be the life of it.
Okay, we are in the registration period right now, February 1st to July 31st. The listener nomination period is July 1st to July 31st. The slate announcement, don't know what that means, August 8th. Slate voting, August 19th, or August 9th to September 13th. And the awards ceremony held in conjunction with International Podcast Day.
What day is that?
And that big awards ceremony is to be determined, which makes me think it's probably not going to happen. We're already in the calendar year. We're 2 months in.
Yeah.
These things take like a year of planning.
Well, listen. This is, for honest to God, the first time ever you and I have found something in time.
Yeah.
Normally we'd open this up in August.
Yeah.
And it would say, oh, we'll get it next year. And then we never talk about it again. So, Steve, you and I can do our part. Easy. Mm-hmm. Easy peasy. You and I, we will register for what's the name of it? The People's Choice Podcast Awards?
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's 15th annual. Holy crap.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the awards. Have you heard of any?
I want to. Yeah,
the Adam Curry People's Choice Award. Now that may be our best bet. Like if you scroll down on their homepage, They may have... Yeah, it looks like they have the winners of each categories in the years past.
Huh. Games and hobbies?
I'm looking at like the People's Choice Award, the fantasy footballers.
Let's see.
Please.
Let's see sports, because I think Sports Take could just clean house.
Ooh. Music. We need to find the category, Steve, that people would never even think about.
Like gardening?
But then you and I need to just put all of our efforts there.
Focus all of our energy on
because we need to attack
category.
the weakling. You know, what do they say when like a bear is chasing you? I just need to be faster than the guy behind me.
Exactly.
Like, that's it. You don't have to be the fastest.
Just don't be the slowest.
Just don't be the slowest. And that's what we're shooting for with these podcast awards. I'm already moving on from the Podconies.
Really? We invented it and you're already abandoning it?
Disbanded. Time of death, 18 minutes after creation. So, Steve, you and I are going to register.
Okay.
I need you to put a reminder in your calendar, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, doing it right now. Doop, boop, beep, beep, doop, beep, beep.
Boy, is that a touch-tone phone, or?
That's my Sports Illustrated shoe phone. Full circle.
Because on July 1st, the listening audience, or the listener nomination thing, sign-up, goes into effect. From July 1st to July 31st. Now, we will have an episode, considering we're still doing this garbage, released on Tuesday, June 30. I want to hit this thing so hard that we at least get an email saying, like, we've made the top 20 of a category.
Top 20, huh?
Steve, look at the names of some of these podcasts that have won. Do you recognize any of them?
You saying
Jim
that
Harold's Campfire?
You saying that we could beat the 2013 winner for religion and spirituality, the Mormon Faircast?
Like, can we maybe shoehorn our way into kids and family because we both have kids?
And families?
And families, because there's a podcast that was honest to God nominated last year titled Cool Facts About Animals.
You know, I'm questioning why it looks like that the awards didn't happen in 2014.
Oh, boy, was there maybe some controversy?
I don't know, but it skips from 2013 to 2015.
International Podcast Day is September 30 this year, Steve.
Okay.
September 30, 2020. Maybe we should do a live episode if we're still doing this.
Right. Maybe we'll do live from the red carpet.
The red carpet of International Podcast Day at the Podconies or whatever.
Yeah, where no one knows who anyone else is.
No.
Like, hey, look at that guy in a suit.
Hey.
He must be on a podcast.
Hey, are you Jim Harold from Jim Harold's Campfire?
Jim, you got to give us a moment of your time.
Please, I need to ask, is the campfire real or fake? The world needs to know.
I think...
Look over there. That's Breaking Through. That's Elena from Breaking Through with Elena.
Okay, can't make a joke about that.
Yeah, this needs to happen. Listen, there's this Elena girl. I just clicked on her link. She's in the Westwood One podcast network.
Okay.
She's done 47 total episodes, and she won an award last year. So last year at this time...
Do you think they care about quality, or is it just about quantity? Because quantity we have. By this point, we'll have 215, 220 episodes under our belt. Quality, not great. Let's be honest. Pretty terrible, both in like audio quality and actual content.
Maybe. I look at us like a less serious serial. You know? Like people were hanging on to Neighborgate. Were they?
No.
All I'm saying
no.
is...
We do have some listener input on Neighborgate that we can get to.
We will get to that here. We'll get to that shortly from our friend Trevor in Nashville. I'm dead serious about this.
Okay. I'm in. I'm seriously in as long as there's not a lot of effort that has to be put forth because I already have a job and don't really care to have another one.
Well, we just have to register, which is
Done.
Probably the easiest thing.
Done. I mean,
then,
not done, but done.
And
but
then
yeah, and then we
July-
just have to do a social media blitz.
every week.
Every week we
Maybe.
post to our 1 to 200 people that follow us.
Maybe this is the time we bring back the Facebook advertising campaign.
I still remember doing that. Because we get these pop-up ads all the time. If you
boost your posts.
yeah, if you run a Facebook page, you get these ads all the time. Hey, we'll give you $5 towards boosting whatever post. So say we post an episode, and it gets a little bit, and it gets more clicks than the average one. They'll say this post is performing 32% better than all of your other posts. Do you want to boost this post? We'll give you a $5 credit. And you think, yeah, $5? What the heck?
Why wouldn't I?
So I think the one time, this was back, way back in the infancy of this podcast, and we thought, let's give it a try. Let's see. And I think we threw like $30 at Facebook and $30 at Twitter. And I did the Facebook one, and I clicked, entered all the info, billing info, no problem. Hit boost post, and it was like I watched, like the little clock that'll show you time remaining or how much impact your post has had. It just went whoop, and it went all the way around, and it said like fulfilled. You got one new impression, one new click. Thanks for the money.
I think we may have gotten one new follow on Facebook. If I remember, you did Facebook, I did Twitter last time. That's how we did it, right?
I think so.
So maybe we just switch it this time.
Right. It was probably,
you do Twitter, I'll do Facebook.
Yeah, I was probably just doing it wrong, and you'll no doubt do it right.
And the same thing with Twitter.
Yeah.
Where we got nothing and nothing. And then you run that, and we just boost our posts asking people to vote for us at podcastawards.com. I put it in my phone when we record that weekend before. Mm-hmm. I think the whole episode is going to be us begging people to vote.
Now, do we have to submit audio or anything?
I don't know. Yeah,
or do people?
I thought you said it was done already.
Do people just go and vote based on name recognition?
Listen, if we're going on name recognition,
so,
we're not exactly butting up against the who's who of podcasting. Again, we're going up against Jim Harold's Campfire, Ezra Klein, Coffee with Claire,
Travel Oddities. I want to read about Travel Oddities.
Like, what is... now I'm enamored. And again, I don't care if I win, because obviously only half of these are out of business, Steve. Like, I just clicked on the link for Coffee with Claire. Her Facebook page, gone.
Okay.
So Claire didn't last. She's an award winner who didn't make it to the next calendar year.
I seriously want to go to the awards. If we're up for an award...
If it's September 30th, we're going full tux. Okay?
Like Dumb and Dumber tuxes?
Absolutely. I might go pastel suit.
All right, I'm in.
So that's it. So people, mark it in your phones. July 1st, and I don't know if you can vote once. I don't know if you can vote 1,000,000 times. I don't care. Held in conjunction. I want to know where they're held, because if it's going to be like Boise.
Yes.
Actually, kind of in.
I've never been to Boise. I've heard it's nice.
Awards prep. All shows that make the final slate are required to submit a 90-second maximum acceptance video. Oh, so they don't do them
so
live.
It's like an online.
They'll air it live. The video shall be an MP4. Oh, God, whatever. We can do that. That's easy. If we make it, I'll jump whatever hoop is necessary if we get an email saying you're a finalist for something.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so going back to something that we just briefly touched on.
Yeah, the day and date that we never got to?
No. The neighbor gate.
Oh, yeah. Did you want to welcome people in? It is...
of course, yeah. It is Sunday, February 16th, 2020, the year of our Lord.
Happy
Steve and Kyle
Valentine's
podcast.
Day,
Happy
Steve.
Valentine's Day. Love is in the air. And so an ongoing trope on this podcast has been my attempted relationship with my neighbors, trying to gain acceptance into the group.
Yeah, and to get ahead of it, I know it was all the way back to 1 week ago when I said we are done talking about your neighbor.
We are.
But
honestly, this is not
separate and a different circumstance. It's simply giving some background.
Yeah. So as we've talked about numerous times, my neighbors go out of their way to ignore me, and I have now given up. I will not attempt any relationship at all with them. And as you know, we have a phone number set up, 424-30-SK-POD, 424-307-5763. You can call or text that number, leave us messages. And Trevor, good friend of the podcast, Trevor in Nashville, checked in recently. I think it was like 10 minutes before we started recording. He checked in and he had some advice for me on NeighborGate.
Oh, good.
Hey, fellas, it's Trevor from Nashville, and here's my story of why Steve should absolutely positively give up on his neighbor. It all started 5 years ago when we bought this house. This house had beautiful blueberry bushes. They're 6 foot tall. There's 12 of them. We had no clue that when they first bloomed that we would be out there for 1 hour a day picking blueberries 5 to 6 days a week.
No, first of all, not happening.
No.
If they're going to die on the vine or the branch or whatever they are.
Well, you and Annette had something similar
at
your old
garden.
house with that garden that you maybe over-invested in terms of size. And
it was a pre-existing garden.
Right.
And I think that, because originally, before I knew Annette, she planted a bunch of stuff in the garden because friends of hers who lived right around the corner, they were like, hey, we should, we'll all do this. It'll be a fun thing, and then we can have all these homegrown vegetables. Well, so they did that, and then her friends had a kid, got busy, so it turned out it was just Annette, tending this massive garden.
Yeah, like a garden that would be a full-time job.
It was like half of the backyard.
Ridiculous.
Just so stupid. Don't plant things. That's dumb.
That particular year, it was a bountiful harvest, and we picked 35 pounds of blueberries.
Good God.
I know this because I weighed it on my food scale. Our neighbors had come.
I've never used one, but I always thought those were meant for 3 ounces of chicken.
I'm sure it wasn't all at once. He probably
Either that or Trevor was so invested that instead of just going to his normal scale, he measured all the blueberries in 12-ounce increments.
I'm assuming he did.
Have you ever used a food scale? How do they go to a pound?
Usually a pound.
So he did that 35 times?
He must have.
We're going to need some clarification, Trevor.
I think it was pretty clear. He weighed them all on his food scale. Trevor, do you have a 35-pound food scale?
Or did you do that 35 times instead of just going on a normal scale?
I would have just put them in a big bucket and then stood on my regular scale.
Exactly.
And then
you either put the bucket on the scale. There's two ways to do that. You either put the bucket right on the scale and look at the number, or you weigh yourself, get off the scale, grab the bucket, get on the scale.
I feel like we're getting a bit lost in the details here.
We're in the weeds, and I apologize. Food scales, not important.
Back to Trevor.
Our neighbors had commented several times how much they had loved blueberries and how they would love to have some blueberries of their own. They just couldn't find the time to pick it. So us being the neighborly neighbors and just moving in, we thought, you know what? Let's go take them 2 to 3 pounds of freshly picked blueberries, the best blueberries of the batch, as they had just been picked. So we walked over there, delivered them to them, introduced them to ourselves, thought, hey, we're off on a good foot with this neighbor. About 2 weeks ago, no, not 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later, I was walking my dog, and he decided to go over towards the back of their fence, which I had to bring him back. Well, lo and behold, there are these mounds and mounds of blueberries that were thrown over the fence. Now, if you said, maybe 1 or 2 were bad, that's fine. No, this was literally 2 to 3 pounds of blueberries had been thrown over the back of their fence. They hated our gift so much, not only did they not just throw it away in the trash can in the house, they literally walked 30 yards out the back of their house to throw them over their 5-foot fence. It was at that point in time that I gave up trying to be friends with my neighbors, and from that point on, I would wave to them out of despite, knowing that the blood, sweat, and tears that had gone into picking those blueberries, including getting stung by a bee that day, was thrown over a 4-foot fence for nothing. Therefore, Steve, give up on your neighbor, but by all means, keep being a northerner and keep being passive-aggressive towards him. That's my advice. Trevor, Nashville, out.
Hang on. There's a lot to digest.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you, Trevor. That's a fantastic story. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That is, I think that the least they could have done is thrown them in their garbage so Trevor wouldn't find them.
Their very own trash can.
Now, because he seems convinced that they were the blueberries that he had given them.
Yes.
I guess there's no way to tell, but they were.
Yeah, I mean, what's the option? Is that they happen to have 2 to 3 pounds of their own blueberries, and when they received Trevor's blueberries, they threw the old blueberries out, but again, instead of their trash can, over the fence?
Yeah, what are you doing? And what? At least go like the other side of the house, not the fence that you share with the guy that gave them to you.
Secondly, Trevor, I don't know that a wave out of spite is getting you where you want to go with this relationship.
You think maybe wave, but only with a middle finger?
Yeah, or
hey,
alternatively, don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's working for my neighbor.
Yeah, right. He's won that battle.
He's got me good and pissed off.
And lastly, I need Trevor's phone number because I need to call him on Christmas Eve so he can read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" to me over the phone with those dulcet...
He's got some pipes.
Midwestern, Southern tones and accent. That is beautiful.
Trevor does have... he's got a set of pipes.
And as long as Trevor's been a fan, I don't believe we've spoken to Trevor on the phone.
Really?
Yeah, not for 2 minutes of awkward conversation, not for anything else. He's sent us bundles of candy in the past and gifts, and but either way, it needs to be. It can't be understood. We love to use that phone number. We haven't played. We've received some other voicemails in the past that now don't make any sense.
I think we got a couple drunk dials from the brothers Humphrey.
Yeah, the brothers Humphrey claimed they weren't drunk in Van Wert, Ohio. Debatable.
We just ran and played billiards.
We found a billiards hall. We played billiards.
I want to sniff Steve's hair.
Yeah, yeah. But please, if you have any comments to say, you can text that line as well. If you don't have Twitter or you don't want to use Twitter or Facebook, you can text that line or preferably call us and leave us a voicemail. Again, you do not have to worry about us answering. It is not set up on our phones.
No.
I'll get an alert that when we get a Google Voice...
Yeah, we basically just get a notification that says you have a voicemail or a text.
And that number again, Steve, 424-30-SK-POD. And that is 424-307...
424-307-5763.
That's the one. I was just about to spit it out, but I had a cough again.
You were running out of steam. 424-3s...
What's funny is I read that on Sports Tape too, and I never remember it. So I have to make sure I have the document open when I get to that. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same yammering while I wait to remember it.
Yeah.
So please use that.
Wait a minute. What's that?
You getting something in your ear?
What's that? What's that you say? Podconey.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry, hit it again.
Oh, okay.
I was too worried. That's my bad. I missed the intro.
Right. Do I have to go through the whole?
No. Wait, you already got the thing in your ear. Oh,
what's that? Hold on. Hold on. We're receiving a message.
Live from the Steve and Kyle Podcast News Desk, a breaking update on Kyle, who has successfully completed a DIY project. That was it. That was it.
I thought you had it.
I almost had it. I think the next time we do that, I'm going to nail it.
Okay. Next time. Oh! Who could have seen that coming?
Live from the Steve and Kyle Podcast News Desk, Kyle has successfully completed a DIY project.
Man, that was good.
Tiger Woods won the Masters. Right there. Right above it. Kyle hit the post on the breaking news sounder.
But let's not lose the main message there. You did what?
Steve, with no help.
No help, huh? That's weird. I thought that I saw the...
Not 1 ounce.
Thought I saw maybe your brother was there all day, kind of taking the lead, according to...
Okay, I was a nice third set of hands.
Wait, okay, so your brother, I'm assuming, is...
My dad showed up.
Your dad showed up, okay.
Yep. But a DIY project.
Dick Kyle came through, successfully completed a project.
D.I. Kyle.
Right, Dick Kyle.
Started and completed a project, I would argue, with no unplanned visits to the home improvement store.
Really? Now, this is coming from you, who, paired with me, once made 4 trips
to all 4
to all of the stores,
yeah,
for like 1 pipe fitting.
And it turns out it was the wrong pipe fitting we were looking for. I think what I've come to discover, Steve...
Am I the issue?
I don't think you're the issue. I think you and I are the issue.
So it's...
For whatever
like,
reason...
me on my own, fine.
Yeah.
You on your own?
Still
Not bad.
need help. I'm a nice second or third set of hands is what I've said.
But us together, oil and water.
It doesn't mix. I don't understand it.
What are we still doing here, then?
Arguably...
Seems like it's a good time to wrap this up.
Arguably our most successful DIY project was the garage door, right?
Garage door went perfectly
Fine.
smooth. Yeah.
Did we have any unplanned visits there?
You had to run to the store to pick up one thing, and I
almost didn't have nails.
I had to run back to the house to grab something.
So 2 unplanned trips.
Yeah, but even
Not
those
too bad.
Even those weren't. It wasn't that bad.
But that's where we've gotten. When we're comparing the dishwasher and when we're comparing the other things, 2 unplanned trips we're deeming a success.
Yeah.
So, we had a railing, and I'll post, all of these pictures are posted, Facebook and Twitter, at Steve and Kyle. I did post the picture last week, to much listener concern.
Yeah, a lot of people were concerned with your mental state, wondering if it was actually you posting.
Yeah, there was one that made me laugh out loud when I read it. Let me very quickly find it. It was on Facebook. And the picture I posted was from the home improvement store, and I had my cart full of lumber and supplies.
Yeah,
and
you did. I mean, and it wasn't, like you said, not a shopping cart with a couple of things in it, but you had one of the big, like the big dollies. That
the lumber carts, Steve.
The lumber carts, the things you'd see, like full sheets of drywall and plywood, and you had a stack of 2x4s, and then some other wood looked like 1x6s or so.
There was back-to-back-to-back comments. Started with Lisa Casera. Lumber is involved? You're a brave man. Patrick Nolenberg. Oh, boy. And Bill Stackman. Dear Lord. That's where we've gotten.
The listeners have a lot of confidence in you.
In our 4th to 5th year of doing this, I have inspired such confidence that I get comments like this from our friend Mike Mokra saying, keep those receipts.
Yeah, I think that's a good piece of business right there. Very good piece of advice.
So again, all these pictures are posted at Steve and Kyle, Facebook and Twitter. Be sure if you want to look through them. There was, as of now, there's not a final picture of it all painted, but we had a railing that would overlook our staircase that would go downstairs.
Yeah.
And we decided last winter we wanted to get rid of it. We wanted to build a solid wall.
Like a half wall.
Yeah, like a knee wall, I believe is the terminology used, right? So same height and everything. Just frame out a wall like you would if you're building a house.
Right.
Half the height or whatever. And then, in a lot of cases, you drywall it and paint it. But in this instance, the wife wanted to try some shiplap up there because of Chip and Joe.
Chip and JoJo, yeah.
Revolutionizing the shiplap game.
I know. What happened, man? So many housewives are going to be screwed when shiplap is like the next linoleum.
Yeah, but there were shiplap distributors who 5 years ago were like, Billy, We're 3 weeks from declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And then whatever that show... What was that show called? I don't know, everybody knows what we're talking about.
God, what was it? What is it called? Annette watches it a lot. I don't know.
But either way.
Fixer Upper.
Fixer Upper.
Yes.
Fixer Upper premiered, and that little shiplap distributor that could.
The little shiplap business that could.
Maybe even that little shiplap business happened to be based out of Waco.
Yeah.
Where Chip and Joe do their bidding.
Yep.
And
Magnolia Homes.
They bought them out of shiplap as far as the eye could see. So we did that. And
it
again,
looks great. You sent me some pictures last night.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. Not that the way that I do things is by any means the way or correct. I looked at it and I said, that's when you had told me that was what you were planning on doing. I remember thinking about it like, oh, how would I do that? Yeah, probably just build a knee wall, like an L-shaped knee wall, and then
yeah.
So it looked exactly like
you would have.
I had pictured in my head of how to do it, the process involved.
Well, my God, all credit for that goes to the wounded gazelle, my brother himself, Robert.
Not the fastest on his feet by any means.
So this guy did all
not the fastest in anything he has ever done.
Well, maybe building a knee wall in an L shape, because now this is a kid who's done. He did home building stuff in high school and all that
stuff. Talked about this last week. He built houses in high school.
Like, just very talented at this stuff. And I actually remarked...
Not so much at running. I mean, there are things that...
Hey!
Look. Hold on.
Hey!
This is the paper that you handed to me before you said, when I
Steve,
say...
there wasn't even a rustle. We've never once exchanged a note in this podcast.
Did you see me? I actually looked around for a piece of paper like, where's my notebook? Yeah.
These aren't York peppermint patty wrappers. But this was our idea, and when I asked him in the fall if he would be willing to help in the spring, because I like to give enough notice. And
boy, yeah, you plan your stuff out.
Like we kind of work it around tax time based on supplies, and I also don't want to say, hey, what are you doing the Sunday of Thanksgiving?
Makes total sense.
So
yeah, like when we did the garage door last summer.
Yeah.
I had that in the calendar, I think 3 months in advance.
And that's another thing, too. If I'm asking for help, I don't want to be the guy who says, what are you doing Saturday?
Right.
For the most part. Now, obviously, those come up, but I want to be the guy who says, hey, is there a weekend date you're available in August that you would be willing to help with this? And I figure that goes a long way towards like you being able to say, hey, this Saturday is going to suck because I decided I'd say yes to building a garage door.
Sure.
Rather than, Friday night you being put on the spot. Whatever.
I think arguably we had a blast that day.
Sure.
You got a working garage door out of it?
Oh, man, it works great. A little squeaky.
Is it?
I've tried to you know what? This is an off-air conversation. Don't need to get into the...
Just whoever's keeping score at home. That's another mention of garage doors and garage door openers.
I got to tell you, I'm glad we got it out of the way because this episode is in our bottom third of Podconey nominations. So yeah, he thought we could get it done in a day, but then decided we would have gotten it done in a day. But he decided that on Friday we would build the wall, just frame it out.
Build that wall, man. Build that wall.
Maybe 90 minutes, Steve.
Look at you.
I was floating. I thought...
You go nails or screws?
Nails on that. Okay. Yeah.
I would have done screws, but probably won't cave in soon.
I mean, I'd hope not. They're like railroad tie length. This thing could hold down the Pacific Railroad, whatever one of them are now. The Reading.
Reading. That's Reading. Reading Railroad.
You sure on that?
Positive.
Yeah, I feel like we've had that conversation. So we built that wall. Got that. I mean, it went great. It went perfect. I mean, outside of the garage, that was about 8 degrees.
I was going to say, I saw that you built it out in the garage.
We literally picked the coldest day of the year.
It was. I don't think it was above 20 all day yesterday.
And so that was Friday. Got it done. Perfect. Came over Saturday morning, late morning. We ripped the old one out. A few complications, but nothing along the lines of head scratching, what are we going to do? More along the lines of, hey, we have to make sure we get this out without damaging the flooring next to it. All the little stuff that you don't want to do repairs for after. Ended up getting that out. Barely an issue. And we're standing there. We're like, my immediate thought was this is going too well.
But you don't want to say that out loud.
No, exactly. Something is going to go awry here in a matter of moments. And Robert said, hey, well, let's bring it in. Let's just see. We brought it in. It was like an angel swooped down overhead.
Like the heavens opened up, the lights of beams of
lights
light,
of Zeus.
The lights of light shined down upon you.
The lights of Zeus, who is the god of clouds, shined down on us, and the railing fit damn near perfect.
Nice.
It lined up so... I mean, obviously there's some slight adjustments, half inch here, whatever, that you kind of have to account for, and some gaps, whatever. It fit perfectly. We're looking at it, and he's like, let's sink some of these in.
Yeah.
So, we're starting to put ends in, and things I wouldn't even considered. I would have seen that it lined up, and my mind would have gone to give me the drill and zip, 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 zip all the way down and hope for the best. He's got a level on top, and he's making sure it's all even. Like, snooze. I have time for that. Now, if we didn't worry about things being level both ways, I'd have been out of there by noon yesterday.
Okay.
Would have had her done. Now, granted, it would have been like a luge. If I had put like a Hot Wheel on one end, it would have raced to the other end and off.
Yeah, right off the edge.
But we didn't do that. And we got to the point where it was installed, and the only concern we had was one of the ends is a little bit wobbly, but what can you do? Again, it's an L-shaped wall, so obviously the bottom part of the L is hooked into the house, the side floor of the house, and the floor, whereas the long part is loose on the end. There's not much you can do. We put nails, we put screws. There's so much stuff in there, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty darn good. Put the shiplap up, and somehow, the grace of God, this shiplap fit perfectly, height-wise.
Really?
Perfectly.
So you hadn't pre-measured?
No, we were already in talks Friday night about having to rip, which I believe is a term for when you have to cut a board the long way.
Yep, cut it lengthwise.
We were going to have to rip some to make it fit.
Or cut the width along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I had done was I measured two of them together, but I don't think I took into account the gap in between the board.
There's a little gap.
It was perfect. It was right out of a YouTube video that, it looks like it, a person's done a DIY project one time seamlessly, but it's got all these edits and they've done it a bunch of times. Yep. It worked so perfectly. Went right up, both sides. He somehow salvaged the trim that went underneath it, which is just, you know what I'm talking about. That
quarter round,
crazy thin, like 2-inch long white trim. Saved it. Just got to put some new paint on it.
Look at that.
I was out at the home improvement store last night, getting the last few pieces that, again, were planned that we knew we were going to need. We started the day, Steve. We didn't even know what we were going to do for the top. We just knew we were going to shiplap the sides.
Yep.
So it's a framed wall. But without knowing the exact measurements of how it's going to size up and where it's sat, we didn't have any plans for the top, the
cap.
The railing part where you could rest your arm if you were standing there. We got about 80% of the way through, and he's like, hey, let me run home real quick. I think I've got some wood for this. And he comes back with a 10-foot and like a 3-foot piece of white pine board.
So it's exactly what you need.
Of 1x6 board, which happened to fit flawlessly right where we needed it.
Like no cuts required or anything?
We made one cut. Because it was a 10-foot board, we only needed like 8-something feet.
Yeah. And
we were able to use some, whatever. It worked perfectly. We Jimmy rigged some corner pieces. Steve, you wouldn't have any idea that this was done
that you were involved in it.
That I was even home. If you were to look at that, you'd have thought I cut a check in the morning, went to work,
Came back and it was done.
Came home and there was a wall that I just needed to paint.
That's impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing it and critiquing it in person.
Yeah, you should come by and take a look. Maybe give a few knocks.
Just run into it.
How sturdy is it? Let me give this thing a shoulder tackle.
And the thing is, your couch is right up against it.
Yep.
So there's never going to be a time that somebody leans against it.
Right, there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yep, there shouldn't be. That thing should be intact, like no issues with that going forward. I couldn't believe it. Stunning success.
I want to propose a challenge.
Okay.
Maybe a Dick Kyle.
D.I. Kyle.
Versus a Steve.
Dick Steve?
D.I. Steve.
Oh, do Steve. It doesn't fit. Doesn't even make sense. Rude.
that was just an insult.
Hey, what'd you say, jerkhead Steve? That what you said?
Here's what I'm thinking, because I also fancy myself a bit of a DIYer.
Yes, you do.
I'm in the middle of a project now, too.
A big one.
Big project.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that once my project is complete, once your project is complete, 100% complete, we post. I post a before and after. You post a before and after. And we have listeners vote on who the best DIYer on this podcast is.
Okay, so do you want me to post? I haven't done it yet.
Don't do it yet.
So
no.
don't. Okay, so I lied to you 10 minutes ago when I said go to that at Steve and Kyle on Facebook and
you
Twitter.
You can post progress.
Okay.
I just don't think you should post the completed one, like the side-by-side before and after quite yet.
So you'll see the progress. Okay, that's fair.
And then,
that's fair.
But don't, save that.
I don't know that I want these, but also, I mean, I know I'm going to lose this because that's just the way our polls go. Simply, that's it. Period.
Well, I think it's kind of apples and oranges too.
That's what I mean. It's like the scope of projects.
Yeah, mine's a full bathroom renovation.
Yes.
Yours is a knee wall.
Yep.
With shiplap on it.
Yep. And paint.
And do you want to go bathroom versus bathroom?
I'd have to check if I have progress pics.
Well, for that one, we just got to do before and after.
Oh man, I hope I have. I'll dig through the archives if I can find them.
Okay,
we'll absolutely do that.
Bathroom v
bathroom.
Oh boy! All right.
Now I'm on board.
Oh, that'll be good because
I think our bathroom turned out beautiful.
That's as apples to apples as you can get. They're roughly the same size.
Yeah, and I won't be offended if it goes your way on this one anyway, because I don't doubt that your bathroom's going to look tremendous when it's done.
I'm going to hire a photographer,
like the ones who, like when you get your house photographed before selling, you're like, my house doesn't look like that.
Man,
that's
my bathroom
gorgeous.
looks as big as a basketball court.
Why am I moving? Did they use a fisheye lens on this?
Right. Yeah, we started ours last weekend. And
yeah, I brought a saw over for you because it was demo time.
It was. We ripped everything out on Friday and Saturday. Ripped out the tub, which I had to cut up into, I think, 12 pieces in order to stuff it into my garbage can.
Yep. I remember. Oh, man. I'm right back there, Steve.
And that stupid smell of fiberglass and having to slice that thing up. So got the tub and the shower walls installed like midweek or so. I had hoped to get it all done on the weekend, but that didn't happen. Got it all installed, all hooked up. It's leak-free. Everything's good. I've showered in there 3 or 4 times since then.
Perfect.
And then yesterday, earlier in the week, I'd gotten in touch with a guy that we had hired to do drywall before. He actually did some of the drywall work in APS 2.0 back at the old place. He had repaired the ceiling at my old house when I had a roof leak. Great guy. And we had him come over yesterday and give us an estimate for patching the drywall around the shower. But I also wanted to rip out the old vanity.
Yep.
So knowing that there was going to be spots that needed to be patched. And so I wanted him to be able to get a good look at everything. So ripped out the vanity. This old, crusty, decrepit vanity with a mystery stain on one of the doors. And this really crappy sink countertop. And what did I do with it? I did the old Facebook Marketplace giveaway.
Oh,
my
no.
old My old standby.
I wish we were better because I would love theme songs for all of our recurring talks, which is your garbage giveaways, our DIY, like, transitions to everything.
I wouldn't have expected. I don't know why I was surprised, but once again, I sent you a video. Like, I did a screen grab video.
Yeah, how are you surprised
of me scrolling
anymore?
Through my phone to show you I had easily 40 messages about this.
Unreal. And I think that just goes along with, honest to God, the tag of free.
Yeah, it definitely does. Because if I had posted that for $10, I wouldn't have gotten one response. I posted it for free, just wanted it gone, wanted it out of the house. I was dreading having to cut that up into a bunch of pieces and then throw it away a little at a time over the next few weeks. So, posted it. Immediately start getting messages. And there was one woman here in town that was like, hey, I'll definitely take that. I'm in this town. I can't be more than 10 minutes from you.
Sure.
So I reply, great. When do you want to come by? Crickets.
That's crazy.
Happens all the time.
Most of the time, it's on Facebook Marketplace anyway. It's you get the generic, because if you click on something on Facebook Marketplace, you don't expect it to, but it sends an automated message that says, "Is this item still available?"
There is a way that you can
change.
Yeah, you can change the message.
But still, usually that's where you get the crickets.
Yeah.
But you actually got a follow up that said, "I live nearby. Can I get it?" Okay, so it went crickets.
So I get that message, and I'm like, yeah, perfect. Oh, that would be great. Somebody not only that wants it, but lives close. That means they'll be here soon, and they can take it away. And crickets. Man. So there was this one woman that had sent like 3 or 4 messages. She was like, hey, I really need this. I could really, really use it. You'd be really helping me out.
Now, again, what did it all entail?
There was a vanity.
Okay.
Like the structure of the vanity.
Yep.
The countertop, which I had to remove in order to get the whole thing out of the bathroom. The actual sink, like the sink bowl.
Yep. Porcelain?
I think so.
Heavy?
Yeah, porcelain, ceramic. I don't know what it is.
Very heavy, though. All of them, yeah.
And then this old cabinet that was on the wall, like above the toilet.
So honestly, this is something that if you were up for dealing with the mongrels, you probably could have made a few dollars.
Yeah. Oh, and a mirror. A big mirror.
So this is like a bathroom set.
It's, I guess, yeah. I mean, you throw in a toilet and it's...
Honestly, yeah. But, so I can see why this would be a desired package, because a lot of people...
If it was in nice shape.
Yeah, and you didn't say it was in bad... Like, did you tear it up?
I said in the ad that I tried to take it out as carefully as I could.
Right, but for a lot of people, listen, there's people who live in a house that, it's already not in the greatest shape, and they're trying to make the bathroom usable.
In her case, when she came to pick it up, she told me that she was only going to be in this house. I think it was like a rental house or something, and she just needed something because something else was falling apart.
Okay. So she came in, the second person came and was able to come and get it.
Yeah, I replied to a bunch of messages saying, yep, still available, and nobody else responded except for this woman.
Now, did you do what you normally do, which is... in the driveway, come and get it, don't knock on the door type of thing?
No, because it was snowing pretty hard yesterday, so I didn't want to leave it outside and have it, get even more ruined.
Right, any wood would become warped. Yeah.
Yeah, so she said, no problem, I'm going to come and pick it up. I got to get in touch with my brother so I can borrow his truck.
Sure.
They drove over 1 hour.
Oh, no.
To pick this thing up.
Oh,
to pick
no.
Up all this
so
stuff.
they weren't even remotely close.
They were in Hartford, Michigan, which I had never heard of
Skipped
before.
a beat there. I thought you were going to go Hartford City, Indiana.
Imagine that.
I would have traded her a picture of C.G. Johnson's home.
Handed her a garage door and say, hey, throw this on the lawn. It's like, it's a tribute to him. So, yeah, they came and picked it up.
Okay.
And I am so happy now because all of the garbage and all of the packing materials and everything out of my garage. Garbage goes out tonight. I have an entire bathtub in my garbage can.
It's truly stunning. And I honestly, this railing that I took out this weekend, I probably could have given that wood away. Mm-hmm. It's treated wood spindles. They weren't damaged. But, to deal, the last time I did that, You were there.
Yeah, the garbage.
And it was the garage door when two really nice folks drove up and loaded up a two-stall garage door and its panels with probably 75% of the parts necessary.
I would say 100%. We put everything. Remember, we just had a cardboard box, but I mean that box had probably 150 bolts and washers and nuts in there.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
No, they're probably still sitting there sorting through, being like
labeling the bolts, like this is for A and this is for B, because there's no way you could have made head or tails of what we left them. It's remarkable. So Facebook Marketplace is the new Craigslist.
It definitely is. I didn't even consider posting this stuff on Craigslist yesterday. I posted it on Facebook Marketplace. It was gone within a few hours, and it worked out great. But, I mean, more importantly, you and I, in the last week, we're like 2 for 2 on DIY projects.
Well, Steve, I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, no. Did you try something else and break it?
How do you feel about going 3 for 3?
What do you got?
I got a new washer dryer coming Tuesday.
Okay. Well, that's not. I mean, that's. Oh, you got to go down the steps, don't you?
Steps.
They'll do that for you, right?
I think question. So. I don't know. I don't know if they just bring it in the front door.
Let me ask you.
Yep.
What's your cash situation looking like these days? You got
We're doing okay. You thinking maybe slipping an extra 50?
Yeah, I was gonna say you got, because if it's 2 guys, you say
$50. You bring
hey, I got $40 here. Can you bring them down? Now are they hauling the old ones away?
Nope. I am going that, and that's why the double dip.
Oh, so you're gonna try not only to get them to take them down the steps, but bring the old ones up.
I'm double dipping. I'm doing a DIY by replacing these appliances, and I'm gonna hit the Facebook Marketplace
to sell the old ones.
They're working.
Okay,
they're fine.
What are you getting? What was the reason for?
They're old. The dryer doesn't work great.
Okay.
It shouldn't take like 70 minutes to dry a
probably not
set of bed sheets.
You got gas or electric?
Gas.
Okay.
So they both work, but and my uncle mentioned this too. Like, back in my day, we would have just let them. We replace them when they're dead. I said, well, yeah, we could do that, and then have an unexpected, $1,200 bill.
Yeah.
Or plan for it when we have the money and know that they're going to be new when we replace them.
All right, so what do you need me for? What exactly? What do you think?
Why don't I hook up a washer or a dryer?
Oh, washer, simple. Plug into the wall, hot water to the hot water, cold water, cold
you got to replace the kits, though, I believe, right?
They say that you're supposed to
the
replace.
Big box store made me buy them.
Oh, I can't legally, sir. I can't let you out of here without some new hoses.
So $100 worth of parts was added to my bill. Mandatory, they claim, before they wouldn't sell it to me. Manufacturer warranty, unless
if you don't buy it, yeah. See, what I would have done is said, "Oh, okay, sounds good." Bought it, gone out, put your put all your stuff in the car, then come back inside and be like, "Yeah, I don't really need this."
Yeah,
returned it.
Well, they're getting delivered with the washer dryer this week.
Okay. Take it right
back.
I
think they're going back.
Take it right back.
Assuming what I have looks
now,
okay.
Is that the $100, is that for a washer and dryer kit?
Yeah, let me look. I still have the receipt because it's, new hoses, the dryer hookup kit itself was like $40.
Yeah, that's usually an electrical connection.
Yep. So, but yeah, they claim that it needed to be all new hoses. So, I don't know. I'm planning on I have to take these things out and somehow get them upstairs and outside, probably today or tomorrow.
Saying you need a little muscle.
Oh, hey, if you're free, I'm not going to turn that down. I wasn't going to bring it up.
I can do that.
But I got to drain the water out of the washer. Don't know how to do that. You just run it. You just flip it on.
It should be drained. I mean, there shouldn't be any water. There's going to be a little bit of water
in it. You just have a little bucket maybe.
Yeah, you'll spill some water on the floor as you're carrying it up. But
I want to get those out into the garage.
Dryers are super light. Like they're not
because
they're not heavy.
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm excited.
I wouldn't really count it as a You know something? I would. Well, that's a DIY win.
We counted the dishwasher as a DIY, but that wasn't. That was a DIY being.
We'll say that was a draw, not a win or a loss.
It's a big week, and then in a month I got Windows.
Whoa! Somebody is flush with cash.
Yeah, it's tax time.
Somebody is giving away all of their cash.
Yeah.
We had last week, Annette's car had we still had a balance on it. That was like we had just been waiting. Like every now and then we'd say we should just pay it off. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Don't like having that payment because my car, like I don't have a payment on mine because it was a Deathmobile
Involved in a murder.
I bought for $100
and then spent $12,000 to repair it, but it's all paid.
Right. Paid a little bit as I went along. So we're trying to, in the last week, we've like really been looking at our budget and trying to get some stuff, save a little bit more here and look at where our unnecessary purchases and payments are, just trying to be more responsible with our money.
Yeah.
And so we thought, man, it would be nice to get rid of that payment. So figured we called the bank, got the payoff amount, and it was also the day that I was going to get the taxes done. A buddy of mine does our taxes every year.
Former
intern
friend of the show. Well, former intern, still friend of the show. It's not like there was a falling out.
Jeff Milton. Yes.
Known for wrestling,
yeah. Being uber competitive.
Good man.
And doing good taxes.
Now, him and I were different eras of interns. He friended me on Facebook. Anytime I see him out and about, he always says hi. Very nice.
Just a wonderful person.
One of the nicest men on the planet.
Very, very nice person. And he's good at doing taxes. So I always have him do our taxes. So on the way to meet up with him, I stopped at the bank and I paid off Annette's car.
Whoa!
And then I went to get our taxes done, and we got a decent chunk of a refund.
Yep.
And I was thrilled.
Welcome, baby Evelyn.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
I was a little worried that things weren't going to work out this year, and that we were going to end up with a crappy refund or owing or whatever. It was within $100 of what I had just paid the car off, like the amount that I had just.
So you essentially broke even.
Broke even. And you know something?
A nice dinner.
I couldn't have been happier. Oh no, it was
less.
It was less.
Gotcha.
So I'm like $100 in the hole. I couldn't have been happier. I drove home with the biggest grin on my face, knowing that I had just basically, money in one hand, money out the other hand. It's cool.
Yeah.
Broke even.
You know what that means? You've now made room in the bank account for the Comanche. We don't have time today.
It's not due to a lack of trying.
We'll get a Comanche update next week on the A-Bit. Boy, also, and I'll mention this next week, too, a disturbing trend I just noticed when we were talking about DIY.
Uh-oh.
I'll get to that. Not disturbing, but some real observation that I just took.
Make a note of that because you'll probably forget.
I'll definitely forget it. I'll put it on the notes right now. We'll talk about that next week, too, because I want to see if you've thought of this or if it's just me.
Okay. I look forward to answering that or hearing about that next week. Now, you have a new sports take coming out later on this week. This episode is coming out on Tuesday, February 18th, so maybe the
20th or 21st. I actually may bump it to the 21st. I want to give a little more air to this episode before another episode just pops up into the feed. I might do that Friday. I do still think we're going to keep our Fast Fives on Thursday, but yes, new sports take this Friday or this week. Talk about the status of the NBA and what's happening with the current game.
Big thanks to Trevor in Nashville for participating with his comments on Napergate. If you want to be like Trevor, 424-30-SK-POD, 424-307-5763. Call or text, and if we find what you say interesting or funny in any way, we'll throw it on the podcast. I think that I really want to do that more often. I like the audience participation.
Listen, I love it. If it were easier for us to do it, I would do a 2 minutes of awkward conversation every week. I adore it.
All right, that is it. You can follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Stephen Kyle to check out some of the pictures of some in-progress pictures of Kyle's big DIY project. I'll also post some of mine coming up in the coming week or so. Talk to you next week.